Many of us dream of finally finding the perfect match, the perfect person who we just connect with and click with so well, and finally getting married.
Let's get married. I don't have a ring.
But let me tell you that divorce is real, and it happens to people every day, and that dream of marriage can quickly turn into a nightmare.
This is not a dream, this is a nightmare!
So here's the truth. Some of us need to work on ourselves a little bit more before we get married. So stay tuned today on this video and on this channel as we discuss 5 signs that you're not quite ready for marriage just yet. What is going on YouTube, and welcome to or welcome back to Faith Like That. We are a Christian ministry that is dedicated to helping you live a clean life for Christ and to live that life abundantly. Hey, while you're here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're always dropping great content and content to help you grow in your life, your relationships, and your families, and you don't want to miss it. All right, so again, today we're here to talk about that hard truth that maybe I'm not ready for marriage just yet, and the signs that shows me that. So let's get right into the 5 tips or things that I want to talk about with you today that may show you or tell you that, hey, maybe there's some more development that you need in your life, some more resources you need to seek out, or some other conversations you need to have with this special person before you go ahead and tie the knot and get married. The first sign that you may not be ready for marriage just yet is that you prioritize other things over your spouse and your relationship. As dreamy and great as it sounds, marriage is work, and it's hard work for everyone in the relationship. So if you find yourself feeling like marriage is so easy and there's no really work to it and what they're talking about, I need you to reassess. Maybe you're not prioritizing that relationship the same way the other person is. And when I say it's work, I mean it's hard because you have to sacrifice some things. There's some compromise that goes into it. There's a process of 2 people making their 2 separate lives one life together, and that's not easy. So in that, if you feel like it's so easy right now, maybe it's because the other person is just giving in to so much thing and they're doing all the sacrificing and compromising, or they're fighting with you about these things and you're ignoring it. So you don't want to prioritize your life, your hobbies, your time, your belongings, your money over them. So this is 2 people becoming one. So if your relationship is going right now and it's so easy and it's not a compromise of any kind, there's nothing you sacrifice to be in this, and there's no work you're putting into it, then I'm sorry, maybe you are not prioritizing this person and your relationship the way you should. Please take some time to reassess and have this conversation with your spouse or your partner, whoever this is, so you can make sure that you get things in order and fixed and where they're right and where there's an equal amount of compromise and sacrifice and work in your marriage.
Well, make it your priority.
The second sign that you may not be ready for marriage just yet is that you don't communicate effectively. There is a lot of things that go into communication. There's body language, there's feelings, there's intent, there's understanding, there's listening. There's so much that goes into that, and any one of those things can be off and kind of mess up all the communication in your relationship. So if you don't have a practice of talking right now, of talking about things, talking about how you feel, talking about what you heard, talking about what you saw, talking about when you did this, I don't like that as much, I like it better this way. If you don't have a practice and a culture of open communication in your relationship, then I'm trying to tell you that it's going to make some problems in your marriage long term. Again, let me tell you, divorce is real and it's a struggle. You don't want any parts of divorce in your life in any kind of way. So to avoid that, start now, or make sure that you have a practice, again, a culture of communication, a rhythm where you talk to this spouse, this person that means so much to you, about your relationship, about the way you're feeling, about what's coming up in your life, about what's meaningful to you and valuable to you. about what you feel purpose to do, your goals and dreams and all that, and communicate all these things, because it'll keep the divorce away, because we talk about everything and the way we feel. Now, again, not just talking about it and telling someone, you got to make sure the way you communicate it isn't hurtful to this other person, because we're not here to hurt anyone. We just want to be heard and hear what's going on with this other person to make sure we're both supported and we get what we need. That's the goal with your communication. So start that practice now.
Trust me, you can understand communication and still end up single.
The third sign that you may not be ready for marriage just yet is that you're constantly fighting and arguing. Look, again, two different lives becoming one life is a challenge. It is a struggle, something you're going to have to go through. It's a process. But in this process, there will be disagreements. There will be times when you're upset. There will be maybe some arguments to a degree. But we need to be able to talk and argue in a healthy way. And if we are going to have to fight at times, we need to be able to fight fair and have that culture of communication and the way this is what we do. We don't say this to each other. We don't do this to each other. We're not petty towards each other. We're not going to hold grudges, and make sure we have these rules and a culture of how we do that. Yes, you can have a discussion without it being a fight or an argument. Yes, I can tell you I didn't like that, and you should be able to receive that without you getting mad now, taking it out on me that you didn't like. I didn't like what you did, so now you're trying to get revenge for or something like that. You don't want that. You need to be able to have this culture of this is how we work through our challenges, our disagreements, and our problems. And understand, sometimes when we're having these blow-ups or these fallouts with this other person, there's deep-seated issues that are connected to what happened. So it may not even really be about you and what you just did or said. It could be something else that they experienced growing up that they're having to deal with, and that came up all of a sudden when this happened. So you have to be mindful of this and have a process of how you deal with conflict in your marriage and how you talk to each other in relationships.
That's how you talk to me now? Huh?
The fourth sign that you may not be ready for marriage just yet is that you don't want to compromise. And maybe it's that you don't want to compromise, but you're just not ready to do it just yet. And if that's how you feel, then I'm sorry, I would have to say that you're not ready for the marriage just yet. Compromise and sacrifice is a major part of relationships and marriage. At some point, there will be a thing you have to compromise over. There's going to be some times, some resources, some feelings, some activities you have to sacrifice for the good of your relationship and your marriage and your family. So if you don't want to do that, if you're not ready just yet, if you just are so intent on holding on to your things, I'm sorry to tell you that a lot of times saying yes to some things in life means saying no to other things. And if you can't compromise or work through compromises and sacrifices in a healthy way with some give and take and everybody's equal in how that happens, then I don't know if you're ready for a relationship just yet. You need to work on yourself to make sure you can get to that point. And it might be you just don't want to compromise with this person. So maybe this person isn't the person that you should be trying to marry.
Compromise, reassurance. That's how the world works.
So the fifth sign and the last sign that you may not be ready for marriage just yet is that you're not financially stable. Not having money is a big issue. You need money to get married, to buy rings, to pay the pastor preacher that marries you, for the wedding venue. But more than that, marriage is more than paying for the wedding day. It's where we're going to live at. How are we going to eat? How are we paying our bills? What does our credit look like? What about our house that we want to buy? All these things that we'll need to consider with our money. So not having money can impact that, but being financially stable is more than just having or not having money. It's your understanding of finances and how you spend your money and your spending habits and your saving habits and how you invest money and the whole 9 yards. It is your financial education. So if you're somebody who's not good with their finances, that's in debt, has a low credit score, and you got 8 maxed out credit cards, I don't know if you're financially stable enough in your financial education to then take your life and connected to somebody else who also may not be good with money, and you both be in a world of trouble with your finances. You don't want that. So again, maybe this doesn't mean you shouldn't get married at all, but maybe just not yet. Let's get together with this special person and talk about, this is my situation, this is what I know. Looking at it, I know my habits aren't healthy, but I'm trying to get help and some guidance and learn how I can better manage and steward my finances. So when you do come together, they're coming together fully knowing what situation you're in and how we're getting out of it, right? Or if you're both are bad with money, so that we're going together now to financial classes so we can both grow with our financial education and be financially stable, whether we have a bunch of money or not. All right, so thank you for spending time with us today on the channel as we discussed 5 signs that you may not be ready for marriage just yet. So hey, if you're still here, I want to ask and make sure that you subscribe to our channel. We always have great content coming out that can help grow your level of faith and grow you in your family, in your relationships, and even in your finances at times. So make sure you subscribe to our channel. Also, if you're still here, I feel like you liked the video, go ahead and smash that like button. And until next time, have faith, be safe, and we'll see you soon.